Hi everyone. So in today's session we gonna talk about how to create Scrum board for your Scrum teams using the Jira software. For the purpose of this video, I am using free version of the Jira software. So I'm directly here on the Atlassian website, and here we have a few options, a few pricing options for the Jira software. So what I'm going to use for this video is the free version. So if your organization is using Jira software, so more or less the options that I will show you in this video will be same, but probably the icons you will get in your licensed version would be a little different. Okay, so let's get started. So I just clicked on the free version to get started, and it will ask me for my the email ID, the first name, last name, and whatever site name I want to have. Okay, so I have already created one, so I will directly go to that, to my site, and once you log in, you will have this kind of view available to you. But let's go back and try a different site. Training. Okay, so training. Okay, so trainingvideo.atlassian.net, and I will just click on agree and sign up. So basically this get started version is free for up to 10 users. So if you want to see or prepare for some sort of interview, that how you can create your own Scrum board, or there are other variety of options, tracking options available in Jira software, so you can use this get started version. Now it asks me certain questions in the beginning, so I will say software development. What type of team do you work in? Software development. Which of these best describes what you do? So I would say, I want to say Scrum Master, but that option is not there. I will choose Project Manager. Okay, I don't want to invite anyone at this moment. Help us set up your Jira. So I am experienced with Jira. My team is experienced with agile methodologies. We spend our time working on features. We have a tight schedule to finish our work. So these are some of the options that I have selected based upon my experience with the team. So by selecting these options, I will get a default space wherein I will show you that how we can create a Scrum board. In case you are using this getting started version, you may choose to you may happen to choose some different options as well, but more or less when we go inside the configuration, everything remains same. Okay, so here it will give me this kind of view. So now if I have to say, so here we have different options, like I want to create a Kanban board, a Scrum board, a bug tracking system. So I will select that I want to have a Scrum board created. Now please remember that whatever boards you are going to create, so be it a Scrum board, be it a Kanban board, whatever boards you are going to create, they must have a project associated with it. So a project is a bigger umbrella, and under that project you will create your own workspace to manage the user stories that your Scrum team is going to implement. So if you don't have a project created, you cannot go and create a Scrum board directly. So your Scrum board should be associated with a project. So here I will enter the project name as training video. Okay, and I still want to create a Scrum board, so I'll click on create. And I will get this kind of view here. Okay, similar to what you see here, I have already created one, which is here. Okay, so this one is the project name that we have entered is the training video. So the project name is appearing here, and it automatically took the board name from the project name. Okay, so now for the purpose of showing you a demo, I will just go back to my previous board. So previously I have created a project which is named as training project, and the board name just came as TP board, so an abbreviation of this here. Now when you are setting up the Scrum board, there are certain basic things that you need to keep in mind. So let me just delete all of this for now, so that I can show you how we can start having some data in here, and then we'll start doing the configuration for this board so that things will start to appear properly. Okay, so this is your board, similar to what is appearing here. Okay, so now in this Scrum board, first you need to have your user stories. Okay, so I will, for the purpose of this video, I'll just create some sample user stories here. In this video, I'm not going to train you on how you can create the user stories, but you can just click on the create option. The project will be automatically selected. Issue type, what issue type you want to select. You want to create a story, task, bug, or an epic, and then you put in a summary here. Create the login page for my billing app. Okay, and whatever components are available, I will select the components. So since this is a cloud-based application, in order to segregate the things, I will select the component as cloud. Then you can put in some description here. Since I am creating this user story, my name is appearing here, and then whosoever is going to work on this issue, you can assign this issue to that team member. And I don't have an epic link so far. I have not defined the sprint as well, so I will just create this one issue. It's good to fill most of the information that is appearing, but whatever you have it for, or whatever I have it for now, I will just fill that information. Then second is okay, I've just created one more. and then I will create another one. Okay, so I would say here the component is web service. Okay, I'll uncheck this create another and we'll just create it. So now if I go to my backlog, I'm in this left hand side. So if I am going to the backlog, all these three issues that we have created, it should appear in the backlog for now. Okay, so these are appearing. Now you see that we have some sprints created here. So how we can create a sprint? So we will get this option, create sprint option, and I just clicked on it and we have another sprint. So we have until sprint number 5. Okay, so this is how you created a Scrum board. Then we created the backlog items and we created sprint. Okay, now if I want to for example delete a sprint, I can simply go on these 3 dots and click on delete. Okay, so based upon the permissions that you have on the Scrum board, certain options will be available or will not be available to you. So now we will move on to the configuration for your Scrum board, and then we will again come back to the backlog to see that how that configuration impacted the look and feel of your backlog. So right now in your backlog, you just see the description, you just see the icon and the ID basically with which the backlog is created, and the priority, and the story points here is empty. So all this information you are seeing here. Now let's go to the configuration. So you click here on these 3 boards. Here I'm getting the option as board settings. Maybe in your version you may get the option as configure board. Okay, so I go to the board settings, and here this is a filter query that I have. So based upon what query is written here, the data will appear on the board. So right now it's just say that the project has to be the training project, and it should be order by rank ascending. Okay, now I want that all the issues that are there in the training project, but the component is for example cloud and web service, all those things should appear here. So this is the first configuration that you might need to do. So in a single project, multiple Scrum boards can be created. For example, there is an on-prem team. Second, there is a cloud team. Then there is a web services team. So how these teams will segregate the information that is appearing on their board. If each and every team will say that okay, okay, the filter that we have is project equal to training, an order by ascending, order ranked by ascending. So basically, on-prem data will appear in the cloud, cloud data will appear in the on-prem, and there is kind of no segregation across different Scrum boards. So here I clicked on edit filter query, and I say that in this board I should only be seeing the data that is within the training project, and where the component okay, where the component is cloud and web service. Okay, and then I will just save it. Now if I go back to my board, so if I go back to my board, then the filter query is little bit changed, that the component in, so either it could be cloud, either it could be web service, and project is this. So all those issues will be pulled on the Scrum board. So for example, if I create a new issue and I put the component as on-prem, then that issue will not appear on the board. So this is something that you really need to pay attention to, and this is the first setting that you need to make. And generally we make this setting in the scenarios where multiple teams are using single project and they are having their separate Scrum boards. So this is the first place where you need to provide a filter query for your board so that the right set of data flows into your Scrum board. Then next is the columns. So what all things I want to see on my Scrum board? So I want to see these three columns. To do, in progress, and done, but I don't want it to be to do. I just want to say rename it to open. So this is how you rename it. You just click on this pencil icon here and then just rename it. And then in progress, and I just want to here also, I just want to say it as completed. Okay, and if you want to delete the column, you can delete it from here. If you want to add the column, for example, I want to add the column as blocked. So let's say I added the column as blocked. Okay, and this is the status that I'm getting here. So the versions that you are using in your organization, you may have a lot of unmapped status here. Since I'm using the very basic version, I am not having all these unmapped statuses here. So what you can do is, based upon the number of columns that you want, you can add multiple columns here and then map those statuses to different columns. For example, if you have a status here as testing, so you can create a different column as test and then just map that status. So that is it, and you can just drag and drop your columns as well to see where you want them to appear. So, and if you want to delete a column, we'll just delete it from here. Okay, Now next is um, this column constraint. So generally we say that as part of our Scrum teams, we should set a min-max range for the development team, so that the number of issues that are in progress doesn't exceed the number of people who are working on those topics. So this is how you can do a min-max setting. So here we have this issue count and then issue count excluding subtasks. So what will happen is, if for example I set the minimum as 1 and maximum as 3 here, or maximum as 2 here and minimum as 0, okay, I will show you in a while that what exactly happens. And remember that this column constraint will take into account your user story and your task. If you don't want your tasks to be included, then you just select this one, issue count excluding subtask. Okay. The next setting you need to make for your Scrum board is that how you want your board to be organized. So how you want the swim lanes to be. So basically a swim lane is a row on the board which was used to group the issues. Personally in my team, I group the issues based upon the release deliveries. In some of the teams I have seen that people are grouping it based upon the stories or the issues, so that the similar issues are grouped together. And it is certainly very helpful when you are doing the daily Scrum, because when you organize the things by swim lanes, you are actually focusing on the most important issues, and the most important issues will appear on the top. So here we have, like, you can assign it by query. So generally when I say that in my teams I use the release delivery version, so I organize them by queries. You can choose any of the options that is fit for purpose for your team. Then quick filters, so you can create a quick filter. For example, I will create a quick filter on my name and will say that okay, so I have created a quick filter for my name. So all the issues that are assigned to me will appear. Then I will create another quick filter. So I'm saying unassigned issues. So in unassigned issues, assignee is empty. Okay, so this is how you can do the quick filters, so that you just, if your board is having for example 100 stories and it is really difficult to see the relevant information, so you can just put in a quick filter here on the configuration, and when you go to the board you just click on the quick filter and the data will appear. Then next is the card colors. So it says that choose a method for assigning colors to your card. If no method is selected, the cards will not have a colored edge. So in case you want to select a color for the cards, you can choose any one of the options. So the colors are based upon the priority. So I would so here highest is this red color, high is pink, then medium, and then low, and then lowest. Then card layout, like what information you want to want on your card. So we always say that, you know, when you have a look at the card, you should get most of the information from it, because that can actually prevent you and save your time, and you don't have to go inside a user story to find out all the information. Okay, so here I have already two parts. One is sprint and story point. I want the sprint and story point to appear. Probably I also want the component to appear. That's just a sample that I'm taking. So what will happen is all the issues that are there in my backlog, component, sprint and story point should appear in there, and I will show you once we go back to the board. And it says that all the issues that are there in the active sprint, for example, I would select a different option here, which I have not selected here. So I would say that I should see the status. Okay, so this is another configuration that you can make. Then next is estimation. So estimation is all about that you need to estimate the issue. So when these issues get into your backlog, you will get an idea of how much work the team is committing to in a sprint. So generally we say that we are doing an estimation based upon story points. That's what the Scrum framework says. But if you want to follow some different method here, different statistics here, so you can select a different one. Then here you can list down like what are your working days. So by default it is listed Monday to Friday. Then issue details. So what all things you want you want that should appear for your issue. Okay, so here all these fields will appear. When with respect to date fields, these fields will appear, and you can always add up to more options. For example, here I can add approvers, votes, and when it comes to, for example, the generic fields, then I can also select like sprint, because sprint was not there. So this is kind of very simple configuration. The way how you want things to appear, you can just select that. And please note that you may not get it right on the day one itself. So over a period of time, when you are working with your Scrum team, and you will come to know about the weaker areas, or probably the areas where your team needs support. Accordingly you can set up the board for them, because this is the information that you along with them need to visualize on the daily basis to see what progress you are making. And it should be kind of easy to understand for all of you. It should not be clumsy at all. So these are the settings that we made on the configuration board, on the Scrum board in the configuration. Okay, so now I will go back to the board, and I will show you that how the things that we configured are appearing. So here these are the quick filters that two of them were already there, and these two I created. So unassigned issue says that all the issues that are unassigned, which don't have an assignee. So in case so which don't have an assignee, so all these three issues that we have created, they didn't had an assignee. So if I click here, I should see these three issues. Okay, these are appearing here. Now I want to see the issues that are assigned to me, on which I am working on. So I'm not assigned to any of the issues. So see, it shows 0 issues on my name. Okay, so this is how the quick filter works. Now I will just click on that so that we can see all of these issues. Now if you remember on these settings here, here I said that in this card layout in backlog I should see component, sprint and story point. Now let's go back and see whether we are able to see that or not. So here I am able to see the component, the sprint and the story point. Since I have not estimated it, so the story point is not appearing. Now let me just put this into sprint 1. Okay, so I'm moving all these issues to sprint 1. Okay, now I will say that, okay, so now I will go to the active sprint. So here all these issues are here. Now if you remember, we did a setting, a min-max setting, which is appearing here also, which says that the maximum number of issues that can stay in progress at a point in time, it should be 2. Now if these issues are more than 2, then this column will become red. Okay, so this is an indication, a visual indication that number of issues are certainly more than what we expect here. So that is why we have set this min-max limit. Now on this card layout itself, if you remember, I have set this setting that when we are in the active sprint, I want to see the status. So that is why I am seeing the status here, to do in progress. Okay. So let's go back to the board settings and see if I have missed anything to showcase it to you. So yeah, so all your issues here, they are with respect to the stories. Now if I make the board settings here and change the swim lane based upon, okay, based upon project, let's see if the view changes for us, because we don't have an assignee. So okay, so it says you get this thing here. So if you have if you have multiple projects running, the data can appear here this way. So if you close this, since all these 3 issues belong to training project, so it is grouped this way. Now if you can group them by assignee, since I don't have an assignee assigned here, so I cannot use that option. Okay, and here you will see the reports. For your Scrum board, so you have different type of reports that are available here. For example, I want to see the velocity chart. So the velocity chart probably will not appear. Let's see what we get in the results. Yeah, because this is the first sprint, this is the sprint we just which has just begun, so that is why there are there is no velocity chart. So this is how you can, kind of view all the details. So this is all about how you can create your Scrum board. If you have any questions, you can write to me. You have already my email ID that was displayed in the beginning of the video. And if you have any comments of how we can make the content better, please do put a comment in the comment section. And if you like my video, please do click on like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much for listening to me.